giving me eyes, man. Like before we came on here, she was doing the hey, let's hang out and let's play and let's schmoo, and I'm like, nah, I gotta go do this. So she's
The
not
lucky,
happy with me right now.
yeah,
We're
lucky
live
thing
on
with him
YouTube.
is he just likes to cuddle, so we're good that way.
We're
Aw.
live on YouTube, Chris. You better do your thing. Your
All
thing.
right, we're live. Welcome to a special edition of Maple Minds podcast. You'll notice that Sherry looks a little different this week. That's because it's not Sherry, it's actually our friend Joe Morin, who has graciously stepped into Sherry's seat as she had some personal issues this week. The reason that we asked Joe is because Joe's from Ontario and we wanted to talk about the Ontario election. We're both from BC, so we're not in your world today, but we support from this side of the world, and we look forward to picking your brain about it.
By all means, like I said, I just came back from the polls, as I was telling you guys a little bit earlier. Polls are moving pretty quickly. I'll say we got there just between 4:30 and 5 p.m. And they were a little bit lighter than I would have liked, but I'm not sure if it's kind of before the after work rush. I'm expecting a lot of people coming in, sort of like job done, coming in. Polls are open till 9 p.m. Don't forget 9 p.m. You got time to vote right now. And but aside from that, it looked like there was still a steady amount. Hoping that they get more because we do know that there wasn't as much for early turnout, but
It
there's
was six
also some
percent, I believe.
there. Yeah, and everybody's freaking out about 6%. But I was talking last night, I believe. People were talking about 6%, and they were like, "Oh my God, it's very low, 6%." Let's put some context in there. In the previous election, so 6%, and this is based on 2 days. Okay, over a span of 2 days in regards to, 3 days in regards to early voting. We're only allowed to do advanced polling on the 20th, 21st, and 22nd. Now, we had the highest at 9%, and that was the previous election, and that was over a span of 10 days.
Okay.
And previous to that, we had 6.18%, which is slightly higher than before, and that was over the span of 5 days. So everybody's panicking like it's very, very low, but I'm looking at like, I think there is a good amount in regards to how much there was over a short amount of time. And considering we're doing just a little bit less over 3 days than we did over 5 days, I think there is at least some early interest in this. So hopefully it's a good sign.
That is a good sign. That is a very
Mm.
optimistic angle. And I, not knowing that it is typical for your other elections, and I think a lot of people just take a low number and then they let their feelings run with it instead of how does it compare to other elections? Is that a typical number or not? So typically, what is your voter turnout? Do you remember what it was last time?
Uh, Voter turnout last time was very, very low. It was actually quite renowned. It was about 40%, or sorry, yeah, less than 40%. It wasn't good. It was one of the things that was talked about quite a bit. Actually, I'll look it up here. Uh, Ontario. Should have those stats ready. But yeah, it was quite low. Here we go, 2022. And turnout was 44%. So it was under 50%, which was quite low. The previous one in 2018 was at least 56%, which is still not fantastic. We've provincially have always kind of struggled a little bit. The fact that it went down during 2022 wasn't great, but again, it was also right in COVID, and there was not really a lot that people were finding that the candidates were not exciting, which is terrible in regards to you're choosing to continue Doug Ford, who's taking everything away from you because the other ones don't move you. And I'm like, that's sad. Like I'm don't know what to tell. I don't know what to work with there. Like it's just
Well, I have a suggestion about that
Mhm.
because that doesn't surprise me a lot. It doesn't.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean I don't wish it was different. I wish that people made more cerebral decisions than emotional ones, but I don't like we can't control how other people address important issues. And the fact is that more people, I think, than we would like address issues like this or address things like this in life, like voting emotionally. And I think that the reason I wish different is because it's more vulnerable to manipulation, as we have perhaps seen. But emotion is a lot easier to manipulate than if you're thinking about it. Do you know what I mean? You would have
Yeah.
to put so much more in place in order to pull off a scam that dealt with actually thinking about it instead of just making people feel a certain way.
There is, like I've been sort of mentioning quite a bit, there is sort of a move away from the work you need to do politically. And it's not just me that's saying it. A lot of people are saying like people are just not putting in the time, and it's the system is kind of designed that way. The conservatives are not going to try to address that at all because it benefits them.
Yeah.
If anything, this is just their, this is something they'll succeed quite comfortably well in, because you've got a fair amount of people who are just not engaged. They're not going to, they've got, they're working two jobs just because minimum wage is not enough for them to afford anything. So they're not going to be have time to actually look into stuff. If there's families, there's the kids. If there's anything else that's going to be involved, if they do get any downtime, it's not going to be dedicated to finding out what's going on. They've just been exhausted with everything else just to survive, that they're just going to sit down and maybe watch something that's going to give them at least a half hour of respite before they sleep and repeat again. So the fact that they're all being kept busy is not helping. And it's really, really terrible. It's great in some ways where I look at something like TikTok, which kind of helps, because especially if you're focusing on, I'd say, the 60-second to 1 minute story, to 2 minute story, as Rachel Gilmore was fantastic for it and still is, but she does sometimes do some longer ones. It kind of helps these people get that little piece that they need,
Yeah.
and I think that's what we need.
I completely agree with you. I think that people talk about politics a lot more than they realize they do. You can talk about politics without mentioning politicians or bills or any political practices or the word politics. When you're just talking about your everyday challenges like grocery affordability, you're talking about politics. You are. I understand better than anybody how the pricing structure works in the grocery business, and I understand that that's private equity. But when you're talking about affordability, you're talking about politics. You're talking about the things that would you would consider before going to the voting booth. Those are things that you talk about anyways. But I think that the way that they're spoken about in political circles, and especially by politicians, I think that it intentionally turns people off so that there's less people engaged, because the less people you have engaged, the easier it is to succeed. The less
Yeah.
people you have to convince, right?
No, it's exactly it, and especially with the conservatives, this is where it really, really wins for them. Is left people have always been sort of a bit of a fair weather in regards to being involved in elections. Conservatives are diehard; they will always show up every single time, and it is that particular thing that gives them a benefit. Like the very people that you want not to be having unlimited, unfeathered power, they have.
Yeah.
And it's on us to make sure that they don't, because, south of the border, it's not looking good.
No. Well, I've said too for a long time, like when I was first doing videos 3 years ago, about how even though I don't respect how they fight, and I don't agree with the things that they fight for, I recognize that they're better at fighting than the left is. And at the end of the day, it's about winning a fight. I don't respect how they do it. But what they do is they stick together no matter what. They have loyalty above everything else, and that creates this voting block, sort of this support block of no matter what, no matter how bad I fuck up, I still got you guys with me, and the left doesn't have that.
Right.
And I
And
don't know
it's
if they should. Honestly, I'm not suggesting they should. I'm just saying that's one of the things I see about them that is effective. Even though I don't respect it, I can still call it what I see it, and it's effective.
you have to go for what it is. You're absolutely right. I mean, just because we don't like it doesn't mean we shouldn't be talking about it, because it is part of the problem. I had this, a couple of these thoughts, and I think I had a couple of discussions with a few people in regards to this. A lot of the people on the right, and I talk about, from just the everyday sort of like the worker struggles, which include, a good segment of the convoy, and the convoy Maple Mega. These were people that were following the left for the longest time because they understood the principles, which was worker rights and the means of production, and all the talk in regards to uniting in solidarity to get your fair share with the employer. There was a balance, and so the workers would always work with the left while business worked with the right. Somehow, the right was able to, exactly as you said, tap into that particular messaging to be able to convince these people, no, these unions, they're trying to rob from you. It's your employer that's trying to be beneficial to you. No, you need to listen to us and get rid of the union. Get rid of the this idea of solidarity. Get rid of this idea of maybe that minimum wage is good for you. If any risk comes to the guy who owns the company, you're going to be at risk and you're going to lose. And somehow they made that messaging, and again, they did the messaging in regards to getting these people to follow that. Then they started putting in the entire social arguments that made no difference to any of them. This is where you start getting drag story time. This is when you start getting
Cat ladder
or
boxes.
trans. Exactly, cat litter boxes. All these things that don't matter. What I mean by don't matter before somebody yells at me is they don't matter to the business world. They will do, they will do pride and support pride when it's good for business. They will abandon pride when it's good for business. They don't care what's going to give me the money.
Yes.
And so for them, getting everybody to just start arguing back and forth about these things that make no difference allows them to suddenly get these people going, yeah, we support you guys on the right if you guys are against this. And they got all these guys that they've already raged up in there in regards to these issues. They are now getting carte blanche in regards to everything they want.
So I'm going to tell you my
stats.
theory of how they how they did that. I agree that they did that. So I think that there's always been a conservative messaging against unions forever, right? But
Yeah.
I think that the reason that it got so strong was because the conservative movement in general got stronger. And the stronger an entire movement is, the more support it has, the more likely you are to get more support because people feel comfort in numbers, right? If that's
Right.
where the majority is going, that's where I'm going to go too. And I think that they got that because of how poorly the government had managed small businesses during COVID. Every person I know that was, not every person, but the greater majority of people that I know that were super against the COVID mandates and very against the government during that time were all small business owners. And I
Yeah.
can't say that the government supported them enough because they got hurt the worst. The big companies they didn't hurt from this, or the hurt that they had was totally affordable. And really the bigger companies, they did benefit from it. But it was
Some
at the
did,
expense of
absolutely.
smaller businesses.
Yeah, I mean, we know some businesses, some of the larger companies, not just benefit from it, they excelled with it, like Amazon
Yeah.
and others. Like they really found like, oh look, we've got something that people are going to need right now. We're gonna tap in there. Even something as you don't even think about, like until after, like Disney Plus,
Yeah.
one big, and the streaming services because everybody was at home. Tiger King and everything else they want to watch.
Yeah.
So there
Tiger
is a
King.
yeah,
I
yeah.
remember that. But I
That was
think
the
what it did
weirdest.
was, sorry, go
Yeah,
ahead.
it was that was the yeah, it was the weirdest addiction because I mean I don't even watch reality TV, but again we were all stuck at home in COVID, and I remember my wife and I were sitting there going, you know what, we got some time, let's take a look at this Tiger King everybody's talking about. After the first episode, we're like, okay, we're watching the next one now. Yeah, no. Okay, let's go binge it within a weekend. We're just like, I can't believe that, and it was a bizarre thing. But again, these guys all capitalize on the fact that we're all stuck in there. And so, if you had a business that could exploit that, you're fantastic. If you had a restaurant chain, you're toast.
Yeah.
Uber Eats and DoorDash, they exploded.
Well, I think that a lot of businesses that move their business to an online space, I think
Hmm.
that was inevitable. Honestly, we've seen it coming. We've seen AI doing people's jobs. We've seen that coming at a certain pace. And I think what COVID did was it put a big heavy foot right on the gas pedal, and it accelerated it by probably a decade at least faster than it would have happened naturally because we couldn't leave our houses.
It also, I remember, especially at the time, and this was a common thing that we'd seen in the workplaces, particular workplaces where they're office style spaces. I do IT, I and if you're in some sort of office space, a lot of the time we'd be able, we tell people like we could do some of this job from home, and that wasn't a problem. And a lot of times you always have the employee like, oh no, if you're not physically in this building, you're not doing work. Well, you're about to be put to the test now. You're in COVID. Everybody's locked down. Do you want your business to continue working? And so they were all forced to actually do that. So everybody, went home, and all businesses not only did well, quite a few of the businesses did better. The employees were, for me, when at the time I was going to work, and I was, spending 45 minutes to drive in and 45 minutes to come back. Like, it's an hour and a half of commute
Yeah.
gone. I'm able to comfortably do this all now, in my house. I get up, take 5 minutes to get to my desk, fire it all up, and off we go. And that was a huge boon for people, particularly when, in my case, developers and my team. I'm going to tell you something that may surprise you, but programmers are a breed that really are very similar to mushrooms. They don't like to go out. So when they were told to stay home and work from there, they did become more productive and quite a bit happier. They just had no interest in going downtown or going out or anywhere. So they were always available, had no problems reaching them. They're always connected because half of them were Gen Z anyways. Um, so, but yeah, it was a shift that we did. But this is a long route to get to my point, which was as you were mentioning, like we've also seen the shift in workplaces in regards to not only working from home, we're having AI coming in. There's stuff that's being changed. Automation is a huge factor. We're seeing jobs disappear in regards to things like, was it? They used to have loan officers to check stuff, but now it's all done automated by computer. They check your credit score, everything else is done. It tells the person at the bank what you're allowed to get. And we're getting all sorts of changes like that. And although it is still, and I still think there is always going to be an attrition in regards to the jobs that we know and see. And it's still a wonderful thing to be as a basis of UBI as to, are we going to get to a point where we're going to have less work than we need? We also tend to, when we start removing jobs, because we have removed a lot of jobs over centuries. I mean, we used to have people that used to light the gas lamps, but we don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
Now they're all, it's all electrical. And we used to have farriers to make sure our horses were well kept. Don't have anything from the horse industry anymore. Well, we do, but just
Yeah.
not to the degree we needed. So, but people are still employed. People still have, a fair amount of jobs. We got new jobs since then. Since the farrier time, we didn't have, we didn't have the need for, the secretary pool. That came and went because there was a need for it and then disappeared. We're going to have new needs. And so I'm not overly concerned about that. But I do think we need to, and so I think we do need to sort of, we do need to adapt. But I do think we also need to focus a little bit in regards to the workplace and jobs are always going to be there, but the pay right now is the one thing that's not. And that's right now the issue in regards to that we need to make sure we focus on. You're going to have a job, but it's going to pay you shit.
Yeah.
We need to work on that to get that balance reset.
How are
And
you feeling
if
about?
you, sorry, go ahead.
I'm just wondering how Joe's feeling about this election now.
My personal feelings on it.
Curious.
Yes.
I'm hoping to be wrong, is my first statement here. As much as, obviously I want to see anything but blue. If it's red, I'm going to grumble about it. I've got some issues with Bonnie. Some of the stuff she said I was not happy with, particularly in regards to prison and how to handle prison. NDP, I wasn't too excited just because, but I'd be okay with the NDP. I just didn't find them too sort of in your face or just speaking up much. And Green, I was really kind of fascinated by because they felt more like NDP than NDP did. But as for the results, I saw the last polls. I think I still have the last polls here. If not, I'll show them for you guys in a minute. Let me see.
Yeah,
It's
show
so fun
them.
to have a techie guy join the show.
I know.
I
It's
do
like-
this all the time.
That is just the boomer ladies going, yeah, we'll be there in a second.
How do I do this? Oh no, it's gone. Where'd it go?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it's this is pretty much what I had to do with when Dina was there because she was not going to be doing.
How's she
any of
doing?
that. She's doing good. I was just talking to her today. She's doing fine. She's kind of pumped. She's got some court dates now. She's got one set for June, and which is going to be coming up.
She
obviously in
shouldn't even
June.
be in jail.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing with you on that one at all.
And she's
But,
still in remand, right?
She is. She's been now in remand for
Oh,
over
Happy's
200
here.
days.
Happy.
Yeah.
Hey, come on up.
Oh, I can't.
Babe.
I gotta go
Oh.
start. I gotta go Beaver politics. This is the craziest thing that I've done all day, though. This is amazing. Hi. Sorry.
It's
So
it's
you just
Ontario
came by
election
to
day.
say, no, I'm going to go somewhere else?
Is that what you did?
I had no idea what this was. I thought Polly was
You're
giving
so
me like
funny.
soft. I thought she was giving me software. I was like,
No.
oh, this is cool. And I'm clicking buttons, and I'm like, whoa, hey, how you doing? I'm glad I got clothes on.
We're all glad you have clothes on.
Agreed.
Hey, easy.
Did you go vote though?
I just
Did you
meant
go
we're
vote?
not that
No,
kind of
I'm
show,
going
buddy.
after I pick up my
That's
boy.
all. That's all I'm
Alright.
saying.
Let
We're
us
open
know
till.
how,
I think we're open till 7. I think. All right, or
we're,
is it 9?
We're open to 9. So
9.
9 Eastern.
9.
So you got
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
So that's
Nine,
what.
nine,
So
nine.
make
3.5
sure you
more
guys.
hours.
You're gonna go back to over Beaver. Also, make sure to send that message out. Everybody has up till 9 p.m. Central. 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central to vote. So if you haven't voted yet, you have time now. Get your asses out.
9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. See you there.
How are you feeling about it, Butters?
Oh, I've given up on this province. Voting anything but conservative. It looks imminent. To be fair.
That's the last Abacus update that was around February 24th, 25th, and I believe
Wait.
this one might have been post debate.
Can
This
you see
was
it?
just the voter share. That was right. You guys are on phones. So,
But that's a
PCs
minority.
That's
Oh, wait,
yeah, but this
no.
is just the voter share. It's not seats assignments, just the voter share.
Oh.
I don't know if I've got seats estimations here.
Do you want me to
Liberals
Bro, I
don't
gotta
think
go.
so.
Okay, thanks for
I'll
I'll
popping
talk to you
up.
guys later.
Just to leave. Yeah, it is a little bit it's a bit discouraging to see these things, and that's the only problem is to show these is kind of discouraging, but it is literally one of those things that people do need to go out to the polls to make a difference, because it is not hard to make a huge difference. And I'm going to go show you guys one particular reason why. And it's going to go to Ontario.
Let me know when to put it back up.
Absolutely. Bum, bum, bum. So, you can
Boots
share
was
now.
saying the green platform was the most detailed.
It was quite detailed. So This particular riding is one called Ottawa West Nepean. This one is currently held by a lady by the name of Lisa MacLeod, currently a conservative. Not a big fan of hers, I think. Many thoughts in regards to her. But what I want to show here in particular is what her results are, or where results are from the previous, and based on the polling and everything else. There's 36% for her, 34% for the NDP. We're talking about a 2% difference right now. That this particular riding can flip. So this
Wow.
one I'm going to be watching for tonight for sure. You know, there's been a fair amount of messaging for smart voting. Hopefully people got the message in regards to this, but a site like smart voting is exactly for a riding like this. And the reason why I want to really sort of boost this is smart voting is also just now started to extend and include the federal data now. They're going to
Yeah.
be available for the federal election if and when it comes out. We all know it's going to be by latest October because that's the final date.
It'll be sooner than then. I
That's
bet.
smartvoting.ca, right? Smartvoting.ca.
Smartvoting.ca. And I'm not disagreeing with you, Christy. I'm just saying, like, if they don't tumble it at the latest date, it will be October.
Right.
And but they are prepared for it now, just in case they tumble it sooner. And if that's the case, the data will be there. And again, it's going to be those types of writings that need to be kept on sort of look at as to this is the places that's going to make the difference. And it's going to be, I think, if we can collect enough of those writings and do enough effort in those writings to, hey, we understand you guys have a lot of people there, but you guys are hot zones that could be kind of, that could make a difference. Start hammering those areas to see if we can actually make a difference to make sure that, Poilievre does not get, if he does win, he doesn't get a majority.
Poilievre. I gotta tell you, there's nothing I like more than dunking on that guy.
Oh yeah.
I'm being serious. So how many people do you think? This is something that Happy and I have talked about before. About conservative voters. How many are genuinely conservative voters, and how many do you think are legacy voters? They're just voting because their parents voted conservative, and that's what they heard in their household, and they don't really want to look into anything, but they're just kind of going along with like as if it's genetic.
I've seen a fair amount of that across the board in regards to, what you might call it. I've seen that even in liberals. I remember coming across somebody in one of in a couple of lives where this person is a very staunch liberal supporter. And discussing it with him, it was kind of interesting to watch because he wasn't really sort of discussing, because we kept on questioning him, and I keep doing this every time I talk to him, is I try to find out why he's voting. He shows a lot of support for Carney and the Liberals, and I said, that's great. Why? And then he would say, things about, balancing budget and whatnot, but I'd go a little bit further in regards to, okay, well, how is this something for you? How is this a benefit for you? What, why is this a motivator for you? Like, if you're going for Carney because he's promising to cut the capital gains tax, and you've got a lot of capital gains going on because that's how you have your investments, that makes sense. That's something that affects you. But if you have no capital gains, then what do you care? This has nothing to do with you. And saying it's going to protect businesses, well, that's not it. There is also a lot of people, as we were discussing, people don't have time anymore. So whatever traditionally they were voting for at the get-go, they're continuing also. So if you've always been voting for that and you haven't had time because, again, you're doing the two jobs or whatever else, you don't have the time, yeah, this is what we do, this is what we always do, and that's it. Off we go. You've also got, obviously, sort of the people on the right that are also, as you said, the ones that are sort of weaponized. Not so much, weaponized, like, this is my team. This is my team, and this is the one I vote for. This is the one I will always vote for, and this is it. There's a fair amount of those. There you've also mixed in there with quite a few of the Trudeau bad crowd, which would see Pierre as the ultimate solution for whatever reason, because they're there for the little guy, because that's what Pierre does. base 25 million as a politician for life. But
Yeah, I actually
Also
think
wondering.
somebody said that he's got more than Carney. I'm just going to read this comment because they can't see our comments.
Yes.
Sean says that here in Nova Scotia provincially, the anti-liberal vote was at least partially an anti-Trudeau vote. I think probably that is the same
Yeah.
in
That's what
most
happened in
provinces.
BC.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ottawa,
But I got
sorry,
to tell you,
Ontario's. Yeah.
in the areas that so when I go see my dad every week, he lives outside of the city, and he used to, in his neighborhood there was, I'm noticing a lot less F Trudeau merchandise than I did last year at this time. Like in my neighborhood, I never saw
Yeah.
that. But when I was out where he is, I used to see it a lot. And I've been out there like in the last month, I don't think I've come across anything.
I did see it once in my area. Actually, I
Oh,
found
your
two
area,
things.
yeah.
Uh,
You've got the regulars there, the
Well,
Wellington
I mean, I'm
regulars.
not talking about, yeah. Obviously, I'm talking about the one. I'm not talking about the ones up on Wellington because obviously, yeah, there's a fair amount of idiots there. But yeah, no, like in my neighborhood where I'm living, which is like not no clear and close to downtown. But yeah, I saw one person at their home, and I saw like an SUV as I'm walking by, taking a walk, and I'm looking over, and there's an F Trudeau sticker on it. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, not here. But eventually it looked like it got scraped off, so I guess they realized it may not have been the best idea. But I also found out, because I'm in a condo complex, I when the leak of the Give Send Go came out, I did a quick search. I said, hey, you know what? Let's see if there's anybody in my postal code. I found one person who gave to the convoy. I'm like, oh my god, why? So awkward to find out one of your neighbors is giving to the convoy. It was also just awkward to find people in Ottawa giving to the convoy too. So
My area, there's not very many on Vancouver Island.
Mhm.
There's maybe one that I pass by, but I am seeing a lot more Canadian flags, which now I can't. Now I know that they're being patriotic. Now I know it's actual patriots.
yeah, that's where it gets kind of weird, doesn't
I
it?
know.
Like,
Yeah,
you
it's like,
don't know what to make of that. Like it's
Mhm.
literally like it's just I don't know
they're
what to make
starting
of
to go
this.
up on houses, fences, cars are having more flags. I think if
Exactly.
I do the Canadian flag, I'm going to pair it with the Ukrainian flag, and then that way people know for sure where I
Yeah.
stand.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, you can do it. Speaking with in regards to Ukrainian, give me a second here. Because we can
Can you
give
share
a
the
little.
screen without me, or do you need me to click?
I can share it to you, and then you need to share it out.
Okay,
So
let me know
I'll-
when.
Oh, yeah, you'll see it pop in there, but we need to wait for we need to wait
Captain-
for-
Captain Stark 399 says it feels like Doug Ford is going to sweep this election.
possibly, and I'm not disagreeing with that sort of sentiment because all the elements were perfect for Doug. And I'll be honest about that. He really kind of scored well in regards to this situation. He was able to get in on a short writ, 27 days. It's not long. Two storms came in during that time. He also came in with a high, showing himself being tough. He wanted to come in early because he thought Pierre was going to win. And if Pierre won, he would lose a chance next year. Like he knew he was done for next year. So this was his only chance. Everything about it made total sense. But so it was very much. Oh, wait a second. I know what I need to do here. Sorry, I'm just
It's okay.
doing two things at once and
Sean
doing it poorly.
McGilvery says the convoy.
The convoy threaded the Canadian flag through their collective butt cheeks and then tried to hand
Handed it back to
us.
us, and nobody
Oh.
wanted it for like 2 years or more. You're not wrong. You're
I think
absolutely
that one
not
Sorry,
writes
wrong.
I'm on
comment.
my phone and it's very, very small.
Okay,
And I
old
have
lady.
old lady eyes, so.
I think that one wins comment of the day.
It is. It's not wrong. So speaking of Ukraine, we got a little side thing here, and
Oh, sorry.
I have a
yeah,
question.
you can actually bring that one up. And this is
Mr. Angus.
from Ottawa.
Oh, yeah.
Charlie Angus.
How you doing today?
Hey man, how you doing? We got some questions.
We certainly
glad
do.
to see you here. We're hoping to see some.
It's a different angle.
Progress.
Oh
A
yeah.
little bit of a photo op here.
And we're hoping that we're going to see some peace forthwith.
Absolutely. As soon as Putin is put in jail as an international war criminal, we'll get all the peace you want.
We're not going to have peace until then.
But you support war criminals? Go ahead.
I want the
Support
war to stop.
criminals. Yeah,
Is that
go
what you're
on.
saying?
Fuck off, Putin troll.
Dude,
Putin
I have
troll.
nothing to do with Putin. I
Yes,
have
you
to do with.
do. If you don't stand with Ukraine, then you're a fascist.
Okay,
So don't waste
Yeah.
my
Do you think
time
it's
talking.
Do you think
Get
it's
right to the
fish-
camera again?
Do you think it's fascistic to threaten to take away Canadian citizens' citizenship because you don't agree with their political leaning?
Yeah, no, you got
Do you think that's appropriate?
Yeah. The
What-
convoy trolls.
What about political violence, sir? You're a well-known supporter of Antifa. I have been the victim of
Yeah,
this.
you know Antifa?
Yes.
My uncles fought fascists all over Europe. They'd fight your fascists.
So you support the violent Antifa mobs in Ottawa. I have been the victim of violence from them. I was jumped
Because you're a moron.
because I'm a war. So you're saying I
You're a
deserve the
Putin
violence
troll?
from
No, I think you're
Antifa?
a
I was
Putin
jumped,
troll.
robbed, and beaten.
Yeah.
You're a
Yay.
Putin troll.
I was jumped,
Yes.
robbed, and
Fuck
beaten in a
off,
park.
Putin troll. Fuck
Yes.
off,
You think
Putin
that's
troll.
appropriate
Fuck off,
comment?
Putin troll. Yeah, you stand outside the Russian embassy.
Go,
and
Charlie.
I
Repeat
came here
Putin's talking
specifically to
points.
see you.
Fuck off,
I came
Putin
here
troll.
for you. You
Nice.
and your party, actually, Peter Julian called me an extremist in the House of Commons.
Yeah,
He
you
said
are.
my watermark is extremist without
You are an
evidence.
extremist.
You
How
are
so?
an
Can you
extremist.
provide any evidence
Yeah,
for
you're
that, sir?
standing outside here supporting Putin, you fucking
I came here to confront you on your
you're-
terrible policy. I want to know why you think it's appropriate to strip citizens
He's
of
sticking up for
citizenship.
Elon Musk.
Ukraine, are there going to be assurances that we're going to get our money back too, or is that a grant?
you get a job,
Was that a grant? I
Get a
retired when I
job.
was young. I made my money before I was 30. I don't need a job, okay?
You're a
My
Putin
job is
troll.
dealing with you.
Yeah, you're
What-
you're a
what-
you're a
You're
fascist.
dealing with
You're
you.
a
We're gonna get our money
fascist.
back?
You're a fascist.
So your answer is
Fascist.
no, we're not getting our money back. Let me ask you this. Do you support Ukraine going into NATO? What about
Ukraine.
NATO? What
I
about NATO?
support Ukraine.
You think they
I
should be in
support
NATO?
Ukraine.
I want to hear you say you think they should be in NATO.
Who supports Putin fascist? You're a Putin fascist.
Yeah.
You didn't say that. Do you think they should be in
Blah,
NATO?
blah, 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 blah,
You know
blah,
why?
blah.
You know why you asked that question? Because you're
They
Yeah.
yell fascist as they suck. This man
in NATO. Do you support them in NATO?
as
You
the
don't.
group and
Yeah, you
Chris
know you
Stacey,
don't.
the
Why
fascist.
don't you?
Yep.
That's right.
I'm a
Wait a
fascist
minute.
because I want to stop the war today.
Support Putin.
Yeah, that's genius. You're a genius.
The
You're a
man who wants
genius.
to
Say
strip
it again,
Elon
genius.
Musk of
That's so
citizenship.
smart. That is so rational.
telling
Look
Canadian
at this
citizens to
irrationality.
fuck off in the
Warmonger. That's warmongering. You're a warmonger. Yes, sir. I'm against it. You've got to stop the war today. Stop the war machine. Stop the war machine. That's me.
I would like all the dying to stop. Hundreds of thousands of people are dead needlessly, and I'm against that. We
Because
are looking
Russia
for
started
peace,
the
not
war.
I didn't come here.
victim
I didn't come here and get aggressive with anyone. This man, a member of parliament, started screaming and swearing at me for asking a question. It's all on video. I didn't shit post
Call me a
anything.
wambulance.
Ukraine events.
Sure. I'm just showing what's happening. And
Wow.
I'm showing Charlie Angus here for exactly who he is.
No,
Member
you're
of
showing
Parliament,
yourself for
Charlie
exactly
Angus
who
screams
you
and
are,
swears
Chris
at
Stacey.
Canadian citizens. He thinks it's okay to slander people in the House of Commons. He wants to revoke the citizenship of people he doesn't agree with. But he calls me a fascist. Who are the fascists? This group just surrounded me and shouted me down for
Wow.
asking you a question.
You're following Charlie
Who are
Angus
the
here.
fascists?
Yeah, now he's following him.
Yeah, you
He
just
follows
surrounded
them.
me and all shouted me down. I have it all on video, guys.
Oh my God.
Well done.
That's the thing. He jumps
Hey, didn't
in
he get
there.
kicked off of Facebook?
Yes.
He did. He's off of Facebook.
This guy gets me so riled up, man. He
I haven't
is
seen him in a
supporting
long
Elon
time.
Musk, who gave the Hitler sign. I don't even know if I can say that on YouTube.
Well,
Who gave
we'll find out.
the Hail Hitler, and Chris Stacey is supporting that. Chris
Oh.
Stacey's supporting that. He's
Absolutely.
supporting
I mean,
the salute that that Musk gave.
I mean,
course
there's,
he is.
there's all sorts of craziness when it comes to Dacey,
And then he's spouting Trump rhetoric by saying that he wants all dying to die or all dying to stop.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Russia invaded Ukraine. They started the killing.
Okay, so
Oh,
let me
absolutely.
ask you. I don't know. Did you guys see that Trump has a different position on Ukraine now? Remember when he called Zelensky a dictator?
Yeah, I saw that today.
So today he said, "I can't believe I said that."
I don't remember.
Yeah. So since he has softened his position on Ukraine, do you feel that the MAGA position on Ukraine will also soften now that he got what he wanted, right?
Yeah.
No, I think they're going to be there. I think he's just not going to speak about it anymore. But he's
Do you
not
want me
going
to
to
show?
change it. He's not going to improve it. There's no benefit for him to improve it.
I
Want
don't
me
I
to
Leave
don't
it
think
as
he has a
is.
choice. I think he has to speak about it. Remember, he promised to end that war
Yes, you're right.
in 24
Trump is
hours.
very good in keeping his promises.
Yeah, promises made, promises kept. There's another one. Do you know how many conservative influencers last night tweeted out, promises made, promises kept. Look at all these tax cuts, no taxes on tips, no taxes on overtime, and that's not what fucking happened.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
absolutely. For fuck's sakes, the
Do you want
eggs
me
are
to show?
wet.
Do you want me to
Yeah.
show this one?
Oh yeah, you can show those ones. These are just background while we're talking. Yeah.
Yeah,
Again,
see?
you're also right. His big love he's got a big love for the fascists. But you're right. These guys don't care about the wins because I mean, a lot of these people are like, oh, I don't really care about all this other stuff that people are worried about. I just want my eggs to be cheaper. Are your eggs cheaper? No.
No.
Are you upset? No. Then be honest.
I heard that
It was
they,
never
they
about
have
the
a
eggs.
smuggling problem on their southern border now with eggs. Like
Oh,
they
yeah,
don't
I
have to
know.
worry about drugs, but they're worrying about eggs.
The Mexican
And we've been calling
eggs.
them white supremacists the whole time, and people are like, "No, they're not. They're not." Well, look at what they're supporting here. They're
Yeah.
supporting someone who gave the high Hitler. What do they call it? The Roman salute. Let's call it. Is it the Roman salute? What
We
was
can
it?
use the term Roman salute because it's less likely for you to get
If you
taken
call it the
down.
Roman salute, everybody will know what you're talking about.
Okay,
Exactly.
so let's call it the Roman salute.
No, absolutely. And there's hang on a second. I was going to show you the next one.
Oh,
here.
sorry.
And again, he's also doing the Canadian versions of it, which is things like this, which is so this is the red ensign, and his hat you can't quite clearly see it there. The hat says Canada First. So he's also been jumping into this very, very nationalist language.
Pierre
And for
Poilievre.
those, it's Pierre Poilievre, but even no, he was doing the Canada First even before Pierre Poilievre announced it. And Canada First has started all the way back to when the Proud Boys were running around it, saying it.
Yes, yes,
This is,
Is Daisy
Go
a Diagolon guy?
yes.
oh yeah. He is absolutely a Diagolon guy. In fact, give me a second, don't take my share away.
The Jeremy
Um,
Mackenzie quadrant of the movement is 100% that word. I don't know if I can
Oh
say
yeah,
it.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Where's it? Cha-cha-cha-cha.
Snot
Did you
being
also
fascist.
see that Alex Vrend from Diagolon is no longer interested in being an influencer?
Yeah, he kind of
Dipped.
dipped, which I thought was quite fascinating too, because again, even it's not even just him alone. It was also what you might call it. Even Jeremy Mackenzie's pulling back,
Yeah.
but Jeremy Mackenzie's doing that, and he's starting to work with something called Second Sons,
Yeah.
which is
They started
Jesus
it last
Christ.
spring.
yeah.
And it's for
They-
more serious guys. Like they say in their code of conduct that like if you have like fuck Trudeau or axe the tax merchandise, you're not welcome. It's for serious inquiries only. They have a dress code. They have a code of conduct, and they're more serious, but they are not as loud on social media. So their recruiting is probably a lot more in person than on social media, in my opinion.
It's going much further into what we call what should I call it? They're going into the sort of the venues of active clubs, and
Yeah.
this is for those who aren't aware. Active clubs are it's the whole movement which gets into the whole YT nationalist movement. These guys get into the gyms. They're all believing these criterias where they need to be strong men, strong white men, and then they get they go training together, and it's just to perpetuate this white nationalist movement, YT nationalist movement. So it is concerning that these guys are starting to try to go further to into the hate area,
Yeah.
even though, they've been sort of like, well, no, we're just a joke. And now they're just like, yeah, forget the joke part. We're just doing this now.
Yeah.
So,
It was never a joke, but just
no,
like just like Trump's 51st state shit, never
yeah,
a joke.
no, no. And that's exactly what it is, in regards to him constantly repeating. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
he's just kidding. And people are just doubling down like, yeah, he's just kidding. Except he's not.
And
He keeps talking about it.
I'm pissed that the politicians, we need more Charlie Angus's.
Yes, we
need
do.
more candor
Yeah.
and less politeness.
Yeah.
I remember, like, even the I can't remember his name, but I remember him saying, oh, he's just joking at the time, and I'm like, you fucking kidding me? You're in charge of our safety. Pay attention. Like, I shouldn't know more about this than the guy who's paid for our safety. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
No,
If we
you're
have
absolutely right.
people in those positions with dull bullshit detectors, we're in fucking trouble.
Hmm.
Just saying.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And it's one of those things where we're constantly kind of trying to address people in regards to saying, like, and again, there's even issues in regards to government people, law enforcement. I mean, for the longest time, was it Rachel Gilmore was reporting on this stuff, and she was getting certain threats that were kind of dangerous for both herself as well as many other particular journalists, and they were just having a endless time trying to address with law enforcement, like, can you take these threats seriously? Well, it's like, oh, well, it's just some sort of online thing.
Yeah.
No, this is online things that get offline,
Yes.
and they get dangerous. But
Yeah.
so it has been a struggle for them. I mean, they've done a fantastic job to try to at least get it, more into the public eye. Thankfully, groups like Canadian Anti-Hate Network have been working strong to work with law enforcement. Like, these are the threats you need to be watching. These are the company accounts, and these are the places that they're hanging around. This is how they're organized, and it's doing some help. But when it comes to law enforcement, it's always sort of a struggle to just get them to catch up, and it's
Yeah.
always been a struggle for them to catch up. Like, it's nuts, and we don't know how to get them to react quicker in regards
Because
to.
they're worrying more about people like Dina, who does not deserve to be in jail right now, but she is. So go to
Absolutely.
freedina.ca, freedina.ca. She needs help with her defense fund.
That's
Absolutely.
DEANA, Dina.
Yes. They like to say Deanna, and that's usually kind of the test
Yeah.
to find out if this guy's a right winger or not.
Yeah.
They can't
They call
pronounce
Because that's how
Deanna.
because that's how it looks like it's spelt.
It is, but it's this funniest thing. It's for the longest time, and like Dean and I always joked. It's like I told her, like, I remember a couple of years ago, like, this is the test to find out if the person is a hiding right winger or not. We get them to check, to say your name, and if they can't pronounce your name, they're a right winger. And 9 times out of 10, it's the case. It is a right winger or a cop.
So her name is the litmus test.
It is absolutely a litmus test, and it's just so fucking accurate. I'm just like, I don't know what to say. Like, it's just bizarre.
Well, please give her my best when you talk to her.
I will.
I look forward to the day that she's out, and I guess the only good news is that, since she's in remand, that counts for more. If she does get found, if she does get sentenced any time, it shouldn't send her back, because it should, like, I'm hoping, because it counts for like a day and a half. But at
Yeah.
the same time, it counts for a day and a half because it's shitty circumstances. So I'm sorry that she's going through that.
No, it is, and well, actually, hang on a second here. If you're
She's a
wondering
s-
if
She's a
back
single
to the
mother,
question about
Muslim
she's
woman.
a single mother. There's all sorts of
No
things. in regards
criminal
to the
record.
case. Yeah, there's a lot of things I'd love to be able to speak a little bit more about. I mean, the charges are there. There's about 8 or 9 charges. I can never remember the count of it. You can also share the screen to answer the question if Daisy is any affiliation to Diagolon. He's been on their podcast many times, but if you're celebrating Diagolon's birthday, then that kind of pretty much says you're a supporter, I think. Anywho, what was I? Yeah, so
were-
yeah, the charges, they got the 8 charges. Right now, the one coming up in June is what we call the dog squeak toy. The entire arrest was over a dog squeak toy.
Are we allowed to talk about it though?
And, we can talk. I can't talk about the case, but I can talk about everything around it. So the video is publicly available. It's on our Facebook page. People think it's
Okay.
deleted, but I don't know why, because it's there, and you can see the arrest. There's also other videos that were made of the arrest, posted by the people on the right, that show the arrest. The charges are disruption, and as well as, the disruption, and two others, and I can't recall them specifically. One of them is obstructing an officer, I think. And so there is a lot of information there, and these guys are still, and the Crown is still convinced that this was a egregious crime, that she was disrupting. And understand, she was disrupting, because it's quite visible, she was disrupting Adrian Thomas at a Nazi rally.
Yeah.
And Ottawa police view
Yeah.
her as the bigger problem than Adrian Thomas, where all the people there were wearing his,
Motzi, the
I've seen it. I've
Thunderbird.
criticized it actually.
Yeah. So so for those who've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. It's his Thunderbird, but it's really the Third Reich emblem.
It is. He would be sued for copyright if the Third
the
Reich was
patent
around
was-
to
yeah.
copyright sue. Like they would. Anyway, I'm sorry to do this, but I have
it's
to
3
get going.
o'clock. Yeah.
My dog's right here, and she's being fussy. But you guys can still stay if you have time, and I can jump on live later. But I got some stuff that I have to do around here. But I appreciate you coming by, Joe. And
Not
I'd
a
love to go
problem.
live with you again. I think that I love talking to you.
Yeah, this was great.
Yeah.
I have no problems coming back anytime. Let me know,
Cool.
ladies, when you guys want. That's not a problem for sure. I don't know if I'll be able to stay on for too much longer either, because it's 6 here, so I'll probably be looking for foraging food.
And so 3 more hours
He's gonna
that
be looking for food.
Ontario can still vote.
We'll be
If you-
watching.
If you're watching and you want to still watch a podcast talk about the election, head to Beaver Politics on TikTok there. I think they're still, I think they're going 24 hours.
They're doing a 24-hour thing.
Yeah.
They started yesterday for 24 hours. So, yeah, for those who are still haven't voted, remember, go take a look. You have till 9 o'clock. If you're not sure where you're supposed to vote because you haven't gotten a card, that's fine. Go to elections.ontario.ca, I believe it is. You can punch in your postcode. It'll tell you where to go vote. Just go down there with your with ID. They didn't even check my ID. If you have your card, you can go with the card.
They
If you
didn't
got
check your ID?
They didn't check my ID. Nobody's going to meditate this. But if you have the card, if you don't have the card, they'll ask you for your ID. Just show that your proof, and then you'll be good to go. If you have a driver's license,
You
that
don't
shouldn't
need
be
a voter
problem.
card.
That's correct.
Some people
If
think you
don't-
need a voter card. You don't need a voter card. You just need ID.
Correct. You just need ID. Go to electionsontario.ca to go find out where you're voting at. Then you can go down to the station, show your ID. If you don't have the driver's license or photo ID, which is what they prefer, you can get 2 pieces of mail from your house. And then you can show that, and that should be sufficient. So if like myself, I got a driver's license, but my wife, she doesn't. So she uses pieces of mail, and it works. So there is ways, and you can go to Elections Ontario to show you how to do the ID. You guys got 3 hours more than enough time to see if you can get in there. Please do go in there, see if
Go
you can rock
vote.
this vote. Absolutely.
Thank you for everybody for joining us. If you're on TikTok, can you please go to Maple Minds YouTube and like and subscribe so we can get some more followers.
And follow our TikTok page.
Yeah.
And we will be back next Tuesday at 1 o'clock. And thanks again to our guest, Joe Morin, for joining us today. I wish I could stay longer. Honestly, I do. I have
Yeah.
a time management issue.
We're going to do more of these, actually.
Yeah, we will.
Okay, thank you, everybody.
Okay, I got it. She's gonna kill me.
Bye.
I gotta get going. I'll see you guys later.
Okay, bye.
Later, guys.